Hi, my name is Ed Diaz, and today we're going to explain and show you how to sequence using the Roland Fantom-G. We're going to sequence some MIDI tracks today. It's actually pretty easy. But before we do that, I'm going to explain what the purpose is of projects in the Fantom-G and how they're organized and why every one of you out there need a USB thumb drive. Okay? Hope you enjoy. Thanks. Okay, on today's video, we're going to explain how to sequence. And we're also going to explain the purpose of projects. So first thing I want you to do on your Fantom-G is go down to the menu button, press menu, and you're going to see this window that pops open. So press F1 project. Now there's a whole bunch of different projects here to choose from, and a lot of us get a little bit confused about this. A lot of times when we see load, we say load project, and we see it goes to the internal project. And that internal project is good for demoing a Fantom and for checking it out. But once we own a Fantom, we want to go ahead and create our own using the USB. And I don't have one in there yet, but I'm going to put one in there in a second. So the first thing we do, once again, let's start from the beginning. Press menu, and we're going to go to format USB memory. So I have a USB thumb drive right here, and I'm going to plug it in just right up here. Okay, so plug that in first off, and now go back to your screen, go to spin the dial wheel and select format USB memory. So press F8 select and OK. Now one thing to know about that, when you format a USB thumb drive, it's going to clear out whatever files that are on there. So make sure it's a thumb drive that's brand new or one that you don't mind everything being erased. Okay? Alright, now that we've formatted our USB drive, press OK. And we're pretty much ready to go. Almost. We have to press menu again, project, F1, and now we have to tell it what to do. First off, if we had a project created, we press load project, and this way we can have multiple projects readable from the USB drive. So say I'm working with a country artist, I can have a project set for them with all their sounds, samples, settings, hip-hop artists, and then another project with my own personal stuff. That way I can have 3 different projects or more, depending on the size of your thumb drive, on the thumb drive. Okay. So first thing we'll want to do is press F4, create project. So this is a brand new one. Okay. And this is just a warning that tells you, hey, this is going to overwrite what's in the internal. But we don't want to go to the internal. We want to go to F2, USB memory. Nothing there. So let's press F8, create. It comes up right here. I'm going to go ahead and spin my dial wheel. And I'm just going to name it something simple, just like, let's see, just name it Ed, and I'm going to delete all that other stuff and press F8, OK. Yes, I am sure. So what this is going to allow me to do is going to pretty much create my keyboard for my project. So like I said, if I'm working on my personal stuff, I can load it up to any Fantom automatically, or if I have to work with a different artist. So let's go menu, F1 again to look at the other projects. Now, after I'm done with my project, just to make sure I saved everything, I go to Save Project. Okay. If I worked on a song, a certain project, let's call it Ed Project, but I wanted to mess with it but not mess up the original, I would go to Save As Project. All Backup Project does, that backs up everything that's currently on my Fantom and creates a backup of it. This is something that a lot of Roland keyboards have been doing for well over 10-15 years. So that way I make a backup of whatever's on my keyboard, and then I can actually go to any Fantom in the world, press restore, and now that Fantom is my Fantom, and that'll be drawn from the USB drive. So first off, like I said, what you want to do, menu, use the dial wheel, format your USB memory, F8 select, do that, and then menu, F1 project, and create project. Okay, now let's get started with sequencing. Now a lot of you are going to get this screen as soon as you create a project, and everybody's going to panic. They're going to say, oh no, where have all my sounds gone? And the sounds are all still in there. Take a look. This is the user area, so this is all the stuff you've done. You cannot overwrite preset sounds, but you can overwrite users. Check this out. If I press F1 patch list, category down, there's all my sounds. They're still in there. They're in the presets. Now if I go to users, Since I have not altered any of the preset sounds or made my own, it's all free. Okay, so don't panic if you see this. Just cursor over to user, spin the wheel, presets, and they're all still there. So don't worry, you haven't gotten rid of the sounds. Okay, so first thing we need to do is get out of single mode, and we have to go into studio mode. Okay, studio mode, this is where we do all of our tracks. Okay, first thing it comes up with is a nice mixer screen, which a lot of us feel real comfortable, and that's actually the screen I'm going to be working in. Okay, but just so you can see, check this out. A lot of guys are asking me, hey Ed, the demo song always loads up when I'm trying to record, and that's because we were inside the internal project, which is designed to have a whole bunch of different demo songs and stuff like that, and you need a USB drive. Now that we created a new project, if I press song, there's nothing in here. Let's press F1 song list. There's no songs. So this lets me make my own. So first thing, if I wanted to create a new song, I can just press load. There's nothing in the initialize song. Okay. Now some guys like to do it, create their songs in this screen. I prefer to go ahead and press studio, and that way I can use this window. Now let me explain. This is studio list, F5 studio list. You see a whole bunch of initialize studio sets. What these are designed to do is to save you time in the studio. If you notice at the very bottom, and I'm spinning the wheel, I have 8 different presets. You know, standard, R&B, jazz, so on and so forth. These are designed to give me specific genres. So say like I want to do an R&B type song, press R&B studio set, F8 select, and notice right now my first sound is a stage phaser piano, electric piano, maybe an R&B bass tri-lead. So this is for me to make my own studio set. So let's go to studio list one more time, and this time I'm just going to choose a blank one. So F8 select, and you see a bunch of blank, 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 and there's one for sample sets, which I can change to a regular instrument, and number 10 is drums, and that's just historically General MIDI 10 is always drums. But it's your own songs, you can put drums wherever and as how many times as you want. So let me go ahead and cursor over, and I'm going to choose a lot of the sounds I like to work with right away. So I went to number 1, press F1 patch list. I went down to electric piano just by pressing F2 in the category. And now I'm going to spin the wheel, and I'm going to pure EP, F8 select. So now I have that there. Now let me cursor over to number 2, F1 patch list. I'm going to go pick a bass. Maybe I want to go ahead and use a bass such as I like the Able Boreal bass, number 569. So now I have him, and now let me go ahead and put one more sound as the drums. So F1 patch list, and I think the LD drums, F8 select. Okay, now look at this. Right here in this initialize studio set, there's a check mark. Anytime you see a check mark or a little asterisk, that means, hey, something's changed. Do you want to save this change? So watch. If I press the right button, which is just to the right corner of the screen, it says, hey, you just created a studio set. Do you want to save that? Now press yes, F8 select, and I'm gonna call this Ed set, Ed studio set. Good. Now I can choose where I want to put it. If I press enter, I can put it anywhere I want. So if I alter one, I can do anything. So let me go ahead and put it right there, number 1, right, okay. Alright, now that that's been written, let me show you what I did. So it says Ed Studio Set here. So if I press F5, and let me go to a free one, see it's back to pianos and all the stuff that is in me. So if I go to F5 Studio List, and let's go back up, Ed Studio Set, F8 Select, now I have the drums that I wanted, LD standard kit, the 8/4-way bass, and the pure EP. So that's how you create your own studio set. Now let's get ready to record.